Okay. So the question is, how have you ever experienced heartbreak, or at what point in your life have you ever had a broken heart?
Well, as being a person, a human being, we all feel like we go through different moments of heartache in our lifetime. Growing up, like I used to watch a lot of romance movies. The TV's there, that's what you see on TV. So I thought that I needed a girl to make me happy. So I had my first little quote unquote girlfriend when I was like 10 years old. And she ended up leaving me for some other kid that I didn't think was even attractive anyway. Whatever, it's beside the point. But then I was just so shot up. I was crying, bawling in the staircase, and it really hurt me a lot. But I didn't realize that like I was looking for love in the wrong place. I thought that there was a problem with me. So I wanted to change me. So as I got older, 11, 12, 14, 15 years old, I started to break my own heart to little pieces and trying to give it to girls, trying to find and fill that void with them, and it just wasn't working. Like we all feel sometimes though that our parents break our hearts, and like they don't even know it. Sometimes they don't even verbalize it. So like, I'm a middle child of 5 kids, so it's been kind of difficult, trying to like find that approval and make my parents proud. And sometimes it breaks my heart to see that they're not as proud of me as I hope they would be, and they expect a lot. And just along those same lines, I have older siblings and younger siblings, and sometimes I just want my younger siblings to look up to me and really see me as one of their role models, or my older siblings to like be proud to say that I'm the little brother. And a lot of times it hasn't been the case. And that's I guess broken my heart too, to not like meet those standards that have been set before me, and not make the people I love happy.
Thank you.
I was, what was I? I must have been like 10 or 9. And my uncle promised all of my cousins and myself that he was going to take us to a Met game. So I'm a huge Met fan. Not anymore, but I used to be a huge Met fan. And, I was excited. He got me, he was going to take us to a baseball game. I have never been to a baseball game. So from my house to his house is approximately like 7 blocks. And I had to walk the 7 blocks to get there. And halfway there, I noticed I was a little late. But, I still, I ran to his house. And when I get to his house, he ditched me. And I had to walk all the way back home crying. And I hated this guy my whole life. I couldn't stand him. I didn't want to see him because he, at the time, broke my heart. Like, he was going to take me to that baseball game. And for me, that was the most amazing thing that happened to me that week or that year, was him taking me to see a baseball game, because my parents never took me. And he promised me that he was going to come through and take me to the baseball game. But he left because he didn't want to wait for me. Because it was going to be too long for him to wait. And he had to go. So that broke my heart. I didn't want to see him ever again.
It was like my first real boyfriend. We were dating for like 11 months. And like he ended up breaking it off. And it wasn't like a good reason. And then next thing I know, he's like dating someone else. And that like really broke my heart. Trusting him like like to the max.
So I didn't grow up with a father, and so it was either, and my brother didn't grow up with a father either. So he was fathering me most of my life, but he had no one to father him. My mom's an immigrant from the Dominican Republic, so she moved to Venezuela, and she had my brother in Venezuela, and then she left him there with my aunt. So it was only me and her here, and then my father left my mom a couple months after my birth, so it was just basically me and my mother. So a lot of things, like a lot of manly things, I don't know how to do. Like I taught myself, I do things my way, or like the way the internet shows me. So my brother took a lot of care of me when I was little. He inspired me to play baseball, and now I play baseball for my high school team. He's basically the father that I didn't have, but he really didn't have anyone to father him. My aunt, her husband, she used to be like my brother's father, but then he died shortly after he turned like 12. So he basically grew up with my aunt too. So we really don't have any manly like love. We didn't have much manly love, and so like now me and him we're a little hostile around like men figures trying to be like above everyone else, because we're not used to that. We're used to motherly figures and females.
I would have to say
the most worst one I experienced was about 5 years ago when my mom had her first miscarriage, and it was very devastating, and yet to this day I haven't gotten over it because that would have been our first baby brother, because we're all girls, and it was a day before my birthday, so it's been very. I have a huge heartache, and it doesn't go away because every night I pray, but I also thank God that I'm alive.
Yeah.
But it just hurts a lot to know that I could have had a younger sibling, and I could have just told him such other beautiful things in life, and just for that opportunity to go away, it's just horrible.
Okay, my experience of a broken heart is not like the usual, you know, the boyfriend breakup and stuff. It's more with my parents, because I've let them down. And one of the ones that hurt me the most was well, I had a boyfriend, and he led me to the wrong things. You know, he was a good of a person, but like, you know, really he was influencing me to the wrong. So my parents, they did not, like, you know, expect me to do any of those wrong things, because the way that they had raised me was so much different, and I just let them down because they weren't expecting it of me. So they trusted me so much, and then to just, like, you know, out of the nowhere, they weren't really expecting that. And my father, I spoke, well, time passed after, you know, the whole boyfriend thing, and, you know, the drama between my parents. There was a retreat of Corazon Puro, you know, pure heart, and I wanted to go so bad. And, well, my dad, he was kind of like, you know, doubting, you know, he didn't want to let me go because he didn't know if to trust me yet. And so I was begging over the phone, and I was telling him, and then he told me, Jessica, I trusted you. I put my hands on fire for you. I'd give my head off. Like, I'd take, you know, my head off for you. You know, I would save you, you know, whatever the cost, you know, but you let me down, you see. And those words, they really stuck with me. They really, really stuck with me, because I've always been a daddy's girl.